Welcome to Collecting Chaos. My name is James, and today we're going to check this out and see what it needs to bring it back to life. We're going to do that right after this. So let's take a look at this and see what needs to be done. Now, because of the way it is, I've been thinking about it. I think I'm going to change it up. I was going to do the interior of the Superman comic first, and the cover to this one first, but I think I'm going to switch it around and do the cover to the Superman first and the interior of this one first. And there's a reason for that, and it's mostly because of this brown stain here. But I think the first thing we want to do, even before we evaluate it, is let's take that staple out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my my notepad, and I'm going to take a picture of each wrap as I remove it. So I've already taken a picture of the outside cover. Let me grab that real quick. Yeah, you see, I've got a picture of the outside already. So now I'm going to start doing the insides of it. Now to do that, I'm going to use my staple removal tool and my capable staple tool, because I want to do this very carefully. Make sure I get the right side. You see that staple is bent over. Like, and this is one rusty staple, so I would not be a bit surprised if it came apart or if it broke. There we go. Let's lift this side up. And you see it has a little stain there, and that's the kind of thing I'm looking for. I got that picture, so lift this up carefully, turn it over, set it off to the side, out of the way of my fan, and go for the next one. And the reason I'm doing this is because Dell doesn't have any page numbers, and I want to make sure I get it back together the way it's supposed to look. Yeah, you see here we have a spine split that I wouldn't have noticed if I hadn't taken it apart. And you can't see me actually taking these pictures. But you notice that stain's getting bigger too. And that stain is definitely something I want to try to address if I can. There's a nice big one there. I think that's getting close to the end. Yeah, that was the last one. That's the one that has the staple on it. So take the staple out, set it up there in the orientation it's supposed to have. Set these off to the side. And I want to get a close-up of that staple so I can see the orientation. There we go. Now I've got a record of how it's supposed to go back together. So now that we've got that, I'm going to take this staple and put it in here with my capable staple too. Let's take a look at each one of these reps and see what needs to be done. Obviously, the cover needs a lot of work. It needs some leaf casting on the corners and on the inside here. It definitely needs a it needs a calcium hydroxide and betaine soap. I am going to be using the anhydrous betaine, the dry. I got some of that in, but I'm still using the actual betaine soap in my little bottle to do cover cleans, a damp clean. So that needs to be done to the cover. This first wrap, obviously, it needs a cover, or it needs a soak with the. We need to do the same thing to this we're going to do to the cover, and then we need to see if we can get this stain out. And I think I'm going to try some Rust-Oleum on that and see if that'll work. And we'll need to seal this here, and we'll have to do a little bit of sealing here. I think I'm just going to use some Tingujo with methylcellulose and nanocellulose, or maybe I'll mix a little bit of nanocellulose with nori paste and try that, because I haven't tried that yet. And then maybe a little bit of spot casting up here and down here, and of course we got to remove the dog ears and spot cast this corner here. It also has a stain here. Hopefully that'll come out when I do the soak. And yes, I'm talking about doing a soak on it and not using my Mylar method. I might try the Mylar method though. Same thing with this one. It has a dog ear up here. The stain, I'll probably have to use a little bit of, yeah, we're gonna use quite a bit of Tingujo paper on this. A little bit of spot casting on the upper and lower part. Again, the same with this, but it does have a tear here that'll need a tear seal. Again, I'll probably use Tingujo paper on that. Now, Any spot casting I do will be on this side and not this side. I'll be doing it on the back side of it because I don't want it obvious. I'm not going to try to hide it, but I don't want it obvious. Next one, it has that bad dog ear there. We'll take care of that. That's not a problem. I can do that when I soak it. Same thing with this. I need to do the same thing on this one. A little tiny bit of leaf casting and or spot casting. I might try leaf casting it. What I call spot casting is when I do it on my table and I'm not using any suction. Leaf casting is what I call it when I use suction, when I put it on my suction table. I'm really thinking about building a new suction table. Not happy with the one I built. Exactly the same with this one, and again, it has a dog ear that needs to be taken care of. This paper isn't really brittle, but it's not that supple either. It's dry. It feels dry. So I will probably be using a little methyl cellulose on that as well. Maybe some methyl cellulose and nanocellulose mix. I have some of that in the refrigerator right now. It's a real light mixture, and that should make the pages a lot better. Same thing again, only this one doesn't have a dog ear, which is good. Uh, Once again, the same procedure for this one, although the stain is getting lighter. I want to try to get as much of that as gone as possible. And who knows, it might just go away when I do the when I give it that bath. And I will be giving these a bath, I think. I'm not sure. This one obviously it needs a tear seal right there. That's not a problem. That's an easy thing to do. Yeah. That's one of the easiest tears to seal. Nice linear tail tear. All of these have a slight tear at the bottom. Some of them will need a little bit of spot casting. Some of them will need just a tear seal. And I think every page I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of Tingujo up here. Or if I don't spot cast it, I'll put a little Tingujo just to strengthen it and make sure it doesn't tear more. Again, same thing. I think this will come out nice if I can get rid of that stain where the staple is. Not sure what I'm going to do about that stapler yet. I might see if I have a donor comic from the 40s that I can put in there, use that staple, or I may try to clean that staple. This one has a tear, going to need a tear seal, going to need a fill here, possibly a tear seal there as well. No, it's going to have to be filled. That'll have to be spot casted. I think I have a plan. I didn't write it down. Hopefully I'll remember everything I need to do, but then I'll be going over each page individually, one at a time. So there we go. That's what we're going to get started on, and hopefully it'll all turn out all right. I want you to notice this page is actually shorter than the other pages. And if you remember the Superman comic, the cover is shorter than the pages. But I kept saying that I think that that is the original cover, even though we say it isn't. But here we have the same thing. This page ends right there. And I'll bring this down so you can see it a little better. It's even at the bottom. And you see how much of that page is left on the top on the next wrap. So that's one of those problems that comics from the 40s have, and even from the 50s sometimes. They didn't always, all the pages didn't always cut right. So there we go. That's going to be it for this. Let's go back to me. Interesting thing I discovered while doing that work. The center wrap, of course, is a little short. It's not the same as the rest of them, but it obviously comes from the same comic. The other thing I noticed is I tapped it down after I moved the staple, and if you take a good look at it, look at the top. The cover is shorter than the inner wraps. Now you see I have that even on the bottom, but it's not on the, and that's the same amount that Superman cover is short on the Superman comic, which tells me that is the original cover, because that is something that was fairly common in the 40s. The cover would not quite be the same height as the rest of it, but when it's set up just right, it looks okay. So that's what leads me to believe the Superman comic had the original cover. So you watched me take it apart. I took pictures of it as I was taking it apart to make sure I would get it back in the same order, because I don't always do that. I get confused by which side goes down, which side goes up. Once it's been flattened out, once it's been cleaned and flattened, it's sometimes hard to remember which side of the comic goes up. By taking the pictures, which was a suggestion by somebody in one of the comments of one of my videos, by taking those pictures, I know exactly what side of the comic goes up when I'm putting it back together. That's important. I also know the order that they have to be in, which is also pretty important. So that's why I did that, and I wanted to use my little pad there because I never use it for anything. So it doesn't have any pictures in storage on it. And of course, once the comic is complete, I'll delete those pictures because I won't need them anymore. Or will I? Maybe I'll just move them over to my computer. Although I do intend eventually to get an NAS to store all my stuff on so that I won't lose it. I've lost a lot of things in the past from external drives crashing on me, and an NAS will prevent that. So, but that's a whole different story, and I need to make some money first. So, yeah, I have a plan. Sort of. And the plan is no plan at all. I'm not going to write it down. I'm just going to do it. I know what needs to be done, and that's the important thing. It's just like the Superman comic. I know what needs to be done to it, and that's what's important. So instead of doing the interior wraps on the Superman, I'm going to do the cover first, while I'm doing the interior wraps on this 4-color comic. That's going to be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you, well, you're not going to discover anything. You're not going to learn anything new except by the process that I used to determine what needed to be done. And I should have written it down, but I'm going to be working on this over the next couple of weeks. So it's not like it's going to be something that I leave and come back to and leave and come back to because I'm retired. This is what I do, and sell comics and make videos about what I bought. Speaking of which, we'll have another What the Bleep Did I Buy Now coming out tomorrow. You don't want to miss it. And of course, you don't want to miss my, well, actually, most of you do want to miss it. My Wednesday night video. Should I move that to a different night? Would a different time be better? Let me know in the comments. Because if it would be better for me to be live at a different time, then I don't have a problem with that. Or is my 8 o'clock Central Time good for everybody? It's good for me. I could go to 7 Central if I had to, but you know. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye.